Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, Mom spoiler season. March the Machine spoiler season, day 2 continues. My goodness, we've had a lot of exciting previews so far in this spoiler. Well, hey, do you like angels? Do you like angels? Do you like flyers? Do you like maybe some flash creatures? My goodness, is this creature, is this commander, is this card going to make a massive impact in a lot of places, I believe. Let's jump into it. So we've got Errant and Giada, 2/3 human angel with flash and flying, costing 1 white blue. So a pretty low to the ground commander, one that is obviously a bit flexible again with that flash, and the flying is nice. On top of that, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. That's always nice. Information, information is key, right? The more you know. And on top of that, of course, you may cast spells with flash or flying from the top of your library. That is spicy. So this commander has a ton of potential. Basically, you can go in a couple of different directions, or kind of like a hodgepodge mixed together of all of them. Essentially, so you can go flash tribal, you can go flying tribal, you can go angel tribal, or yeah, some kind of combination of all of them. But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities for this. This could be one of the most effective angel tribal commanders out there. I mean, my goodness, just being able to say, yeah, I've got my low to the ground commander that I can flash in whenever I need to. And then I have access to the top of my library, and if I've got, well, again, an angel tribal deck, like a ton of angels, basically your library is just now a second hand. The top of your library is like, hey, oh, I'm an angel. Perfect, get into play, get into play, get into play, get into play. Maybe some have flash. Again, a flash tribal deck can be very effective with this as well. Obviously, your opponents won't know what to do, because obviously, yeah, you might only have 2 cards in your hand, but the top of your library, you can just utilize whenever you need to. They might not know if it's a flash card or not, right? So yeah, and of course there are ways to manipulate the top card of your library. There are a ton of just fantastic flyers out there. I mean, yeah, just a lot of powerful creatures that you've got access to now just on top of your library. In addition to in your hand, there's a lot of exciting things you can do with this one. Just a very powerful card that I think can see a good amount of play. I mean, outside of just Angel Tribal, and outside of it being Commander, just a very, very high value card. Again, there's plenty of cards out there, not plenty of cards out there, but there are other cards out there that do give you access to the top of your library. And again, just having that as a second hand is just massive. I mean, you might just think, oh, it might only be, one additional card of value, but hey, if you play an angel up the top of your library with flying, and then there's another angel there on top of the library of flying, guess what? You just basically drew a card. So yeah, this is a card that I think has, again, a great amount of potential. I think a lot of players out there are going to be very excited about it, especially Angel Tribal commanders out there. And of course, giving you access to blue and Angel Tribal, that is nice. There's not too many angels out there that are really that heavy hitting of an Angel Tribal commander that have access to multiple colors. So yeah, with all that said, we're going to be going through some budget buys, some fantastic cards that are less than $1, cards that are within my budget. Some of the pricier picks we're going to go through as well, cards that are, well, slightly outside of my budget, some much outside of my budget. Much outside of my budget. I need coffee above $1, and yeah, with all that said, yeah, of course there's a card list link in the description below, so make sure you check that out. When a new exciting commander like this one is spoiled, sometimes cards that go well with it might go up in price. So yeah, maybe pick some of those up. Now, with all that said, let's jump into it. So first up, we've got the budget buys, and starting off in the budget buys, let's start with some flash creatures. Cathar Commando, a new one, but a really good one, or new-ish, I guess. It came out, not too short ago, I guess. It's been around for a little while, but it's a great card. Anyways, 3/1 flash for 1 and a white. 2 mana, 3/1, you can flash it in. Can be a good blocker for you, obviously. But more importantly, pay 1, sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So out of nowhere, you can just flash this in, block a creature, sack it, destroy target artifact or enchantment, prevent, essentially, that combination from hitting you, as long as they don't trample. And yeah, basically just a really flexible card, again, that you now have access to on top of your library if it's there. So yeah, just extra cards value. Again, flash, I think, can be a really exciting way to take this kind of a commander. Next up, Venser Shaper Savant. Yeah, this is quite the flash creature. 2/2 flash human wizard that costs 2 blue. When it enters the battlefield, return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. So bounce anything, essentially. Yeah, again, on the top of your library, just out of nowhere, just, oh yeah, okay, oh, you cast that, don't like that. Oh, let's bounce it back to your hand. Oh, that permanent's trying to attack me. Oh, okay, let's bounce it back to your hand. Yeah, this is just a very, very, very flexible card, and again, one that, you have access to now, thanks to this commander, on top of your library, in your hand, wherever you need it, essentially a great card for you. And yeah, you can actually use this on one of your own things, too. If an opponent is trying to destroy one of your key pieces, bounce it back to your hand. Why not? Next up, if you are going more flying tribal, watch for the spheres. There's actually a few creatures out there that are like, hey, flyers you control get, +1/+1, or, flyers you control have a cost reduction like this one, which is incredible. 2/2 flyer, bird wizard. That costs white blue. Creature spells with flying you cast cost once to cast a very low to the ground creature that is a massive cost reducer for you. Can save you a ton of mana throughout the game. And on top of that, whenever another creature with flying enters battlefield under control, watch spheres gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So a nice little pump effect on there as well. Yeah, flying tribal can definitely utilize a card like this. Very effective, very efficient. And again, you can get off the top of your library. Great way to just cast spell after spell after spell after spell with that cost reduction. Moving on the opposite end of things, instead of cost reducing, let's cost add. I don't know. Windborn Muse, 2/3 spirit with flying that costs 3 and a white. Creatures can't attack you unless control pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Just, happens to have flying, so great. We just basically have a ghostly, prison, essentially, that we get off the top of our library. Again, a lot of great flyers out there. Something you might not even realize really have flying, and you're like, oh, well, that does have flying. Okay, let's add that to the list. Let's add that to the list. Let's add that to the list. I kind of forgot that Windborn Muse has flying, but, makes sense. Wind. Duh, Mitch. Anyways, but yeah, basically a ghostly prison in your deck, just on a flyer. This can be a great card. And again, in combination with some of those maybe anthem effects that, that can, help pump your flyers as well. Hey, this little 2/2 or 2/3 can actually hit for even harder. And again, with your flyers, you're going to be evasive. You're going to be able to get through on opponents. It's going to be a great fun time, at least for you. Speaking of a fun time, at least for you, Deluded Primordial. My goodness. Yeah, I kind of forgot this one had flying as well. 5/5 flying avatar that costs 5 blue. Because the important part isn't that it has flying. The important part is this ETB. Enters the battlefield. For each opponent, you may cast up to one target instant sorcery card for that player's graveyard that pay its mana cost. Baseball cast will be put in graveyard this turn. Exile instead. Basically, hey, cast 3 things for free. So yeah, being able to just pull this off the top of your library, like, oh no, I don't have a hand. Oh darn. Okay, well, on top of my library, Deluded Primordial. Let's play that. Use 3 of your spells, maybe some draw spells, out of your graveyard. It's gonna be a great time. So again, you can just pull value out of nowhere essentially with a commander like this that says, hey, you've got access to the top of your library as well. It's absolutely an incredible resource for you. And now with this card, hey, your opponent's graveyards are resources too. Next up, Selfless Spirit. I did not think I'd be bringing this one up in the budget buys. Oh my goodness, thank you for reprinting this one, Watsy. Oh my goodness. Selfless Spirit, a 2/1 Spirit Cleric with flying that costs 1 and a white. Sacrifice a creature you control, get indestructible until end of turn. A long time ago, I can't remember where this one came out. This was a budget-friendly card, at least for me. Less than $1. Then it was like an $8 card or something, because it wasn't reprinted and Spirit Tribal became a thing in other formats and whatnot. But this card got it really expensive. It's an incredible card. Just, hey, on the battlefield, a 2/1 flyer for 2. Get through on opponents again. Some other anthem effects can be great. And it's a great panic button. Hey, if someone casts a Wrath, protect your team. Maybe even it's you casting the Wrath. Maybe you're like, hey, let's destroy the board. Great. Ha ha ha. Oh, and then also I'll sacrifice this, protect my team, and my team stays. So it's a one-sided board wipe. This is an incredible card again. 1 for just 2 mana off the top of your library. Again, if you got a cost reducer too, hey, just 1 mana for a board wipe protection creature that is evasive and fantastic. There's a lot of great flyers out there. And again, ones you might not even realize have flying. Yeah, great card. Next up, let's get into some angels, and one that you have access to, unlike a lot of other angel tribal decks, because, hey, this is a Azorius angel, and not a lot of angel tribal decks are Azorius, or have access to blue, I should say. Regardless, Linvala Shield of Seagate, a 3/3 angel wizard with flying that costs 1 white and a blue. Does say something essentially about having a full party. You probably aren't going to have a full party, so I'm just going to skip that. If you do, cool, good for you. Sacrifice Linvala, choose Hexproof or Indestructible creature control, getting that ability until end of turn. Again, kind of like that Selfless Spirit, but slightly better on that sacrifice, right? You can choose, hey, I'm either going to get Indestructible or Hexproof, either of which can be great ways to protect your team in a lot of situations. And yeah, again, just having additional kind of like, maybe even if you're doing a flying tribal deck, essentially, you might want to utilize both of them. Again, both are great. Both are great ways to protect your team. And yeah, if you're going more heavily into angel tribal, maybe you also want to consider Karmic Guide, which actually you probably also want to consider if you're in flying tribal too. Angel Spirit for a 2/2. For a 2/2. A 2/2 Angel Spirit. There we go. That's flying protection from black. Echo for 3 white. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very simple, very effective, very good. Basically, hey, just a reanimation spell. essentially that, well, I mean, there are ways to use and abuse it. Obviously, if you can use and abuse that ETB, you know, maybe by blinking it, etc., getting it back. But yeah, regardless, again, just saying like, oh no, I have no hand, but oh, on the top of my library is this, and I've got this massive creature in my graveyard too. Cool, let's play this, let's get that out, let's get going. Yeah, you can definitely get a lot of value out of something like this, especially with a commander like this. Speaking of value, something that I definitely want to cover on this episode, Ghoul Caller's Bell. Cards like this are incredible with commanders. They give you access to the top of your library. Simple artifact for a single mana. Tap. Each player puts the top card of the library in the graveyard. Basically, each player mills one. My goodness. This card seems so simple, but it is so incredibly effective with a commander, again, like this one. Because, hey, let's say you've got a land on top of your library that you can't utilize. Get rid of it. Just mill everyone for one. Who cares? Or, I mean, there's other ones that actually just mill you for one, too, like Codex. I probably should have brought that one up, because sometimes you don't want to mill your opponents. Regardless, we're already here. We've already got this on the screen. So, yeah, there's a lot of different iterations of this card. Ways to essentially mill yourself repeatedly and just say, oh, okay, well, you know what? I know what the top card of my library is. It's not a creature with flash or with flying. Let's get rid of it. All right, so I can get access to another card. It's basically like drawing a card. I mean, you're not actually getting the card in your hand, but it's like drawing into another card, give you access to another card. It's giving you card advantage in a very strange way, but a very effective way. So yeah, make sure you're considering cards like this. Again, Codex Trader, Pixis of Pandemonium, cards like that, essentially that can just get rid of the top card of your library because you've got something, you know, that might be even more valuable underneath that you can get access to thanks to your fantastic commander. Now, we've gone through all the budget buys. Time to jump into the pricier picks. And let's start things off with Angel Tribal cards. And yeah, you get access to a lot of great Angel Tribal cards once you bump up the budget a little bit. Lyra Dawnbringer. Yeah, a great Angel Tribal commander itself. One that is incredible, obviously, in other Angel Tribal decks. 5/5, flying, first strike, lifelink, first strike, lifelink. There we go. Other angels you control get +1 and have lifelink. So, essentially a giant anthem for your team. Again, lifelink is huge. Just being able to just, you know, pad your life total, gain a ton of life, stay way ahead of your opponents. And again, this is a good commander on its own. Obviously, a very good Angel Tribal commander. But again, with this commander, this new commander gives you access to your library. It gives you additional card advantage. It essentially allows you to, you know, also maybe integrate some flash pieces in there too. And also gives you access to blue again, which can be huge. Give you that additional color, you know, getting the advantages of blue that can help balance out those, you know, disadvantages of mono white, like, you know, not really having access to a lot of draw spells. So yeah. On top of it just being a great draw engine for you as well, basically. So yeah, again, adding in these other Angel Tribal pieces can be huge. Like, you know, Giada Font of Hope, a very popular brand new Angel Tribal commander. Not brand new, I guess new commander was last year, but yeah, new in the past year. Angel Tribal commander, a fantastic one. 2/2 Angel with Flying Vigilance that only costs 2 mana. Each other angel you control enters the battlefield, additional +1 counter on it for each angel you already control. Tap for a colorless, spend this mana only to cast an angel spell. Basically a low to the ground mana dork that can pump your entire team, you know, essentially basically like, okay, every other angel that you play, on top of that, you keep going more and more and more. They keep getting more and more powerful. So yeah, definitely a great Angel Tribal commander, a great Angel Tribal piece in the 99. And yeah, for a commander like this, again, just getting access to, you know, the top of your library, getting more and more angels out. You're going to be able to utilize the mana from this too. Just a fantastic card for an Angel Tribal deck. Moving on. Let's keep talking about angels. Gisela the Broken Blade. 4/3, flying, first strike, lifelink. Very good stats for a 4-mana, you know, creature essentially, but that's not the important part. The important part is, beginning of your end step, if you both own and control this and Bruna, you are going to meld them into Brisella. Now, really quick, before we get into that, let's talk about Bruna, because it's a great card for an Angel Tribal deck. 5/7. When it Flying Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target angel or human card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Again, if you're doing Angel Tribal, you've got access to a ton of great angels, a lot of great ones you can get back into your graveyard. And yeah, maybe that's you know, Gisela that you're going to get out of play, because when they're both in play, you meld it into this monstrosity. Oh my goodness, gross, awesome, fantastic. 9/10 Eldrazi Angel, Brisella, Voice of Nightmares. Yeah, that picture will give you nightmares. Flying, first strike, vigilance, lifelink. Ouch. Your opponents can't cast spells with conversion mana cost 3 or less. Ouch. This can shut down a lot of things. This can shut down certain decks, like Spellslinger decks are gonna be like, oh no, my spells, I can't cast them. Yeah, this is a really spicy card, one that obviously does really well in an Angel Tribal deck. And again, for an Angel Tribal commander that gives you access to the top of your library, I keep saying that, but allows you to dig deeper and dig quicker into your library. You're able to find these kinds of cards more quickly, being able to, I mean, even like we talked about Ghoul Caller's Bell, other cards that can mill cards off the top of your library in your graveyard. Hey, mill Gisela into your graveyard, then get Bruna out, and then you get to meld them together. Again, you can very easily do that, very effectively do that, and have just an absolute monstrosity of a creature in play that is, again, going to give your opponents nightmares in the game and later on when they're trying to sleep. Next up, Avacyn Angel of Hope. Speaking of nightmares, oh my goodness. 8/8, Flying Vigilance, indestructible. Other permanents you control have indestructible too. So, good luck to your opponents trying to deal with any of your things at all. Yeah, this is just an absolute monster. Again, a good commander itself, but again, just great in an Angel Tribal deck and great in this kind of a deck. So yeah, whether you're going Flying or Angel Tribal, this can just be a good piece to throw into your deck. And oh my goodness, speaking of which, I switched slides here real quick. And if you're going Flying Tribal, just more generically, yeah, there is a lot of great options outside of Angels too, like Consecrated Sphinx. Hey, remember those Sphinxes? 4 or 6 Sphinx with Flying. Whenever your opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. Already talked about how your commander gives you an absurd amount of card advantage, essentially. This does as well. I mean, even more so. So, yeah, your opponents, even if they're just drawing 1 card in each of their turns, again, which chances are likely they're probably going to do more than that in a game of Commander, right? There's going to be draw spells. But even if they don't, hey, you're drawing 6 cards with each trip around the table. So, yeah, this is a great card to just say, oh, it's on top of my library. I don't have a hand. Let's get that in play. Okay. Go around the table and let's see what happens. So yeah, you can just absolutely fill up your hand in absolutely no time with a card like this. Next up, speaking of which, a new card. I believe this is a new card. Yeah, I think so. Fairy Mastermind. 2/1, Flash Flying Fairy Rogue for 1 and a blue. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. That's pretty great. Opponents, again, are probably likely to draw a good amount of cards. Again, you can flash this in before an opponent is about to draw that card. They're about to like, I'm going to cast my Brainstorm. And you're like, flash this in, take advantage of that, draw a card. Cool. Also, you can pay 3 and a blue, and each player draws a card too. So yeah, a good amount of card advantage can be gained from this. Again, this applies to both flash decks, both flying decks. If you got a, combination of them, a great card for those kinds of decks. And yeah, just overall, if you want to go flash, you can also consider cards like, Spell Queller. You can do some really gross things in flash. 2/3 Spirit with Flash and Flying. Enters the battlefield. Exile target spell with converted mana cost 4 or less. Leaves the battlefield. Bring it back to the owner's hand. Basically, hey, you know what? I don't like what you're doing over there, that spell. I'm just going to take this off the top of my library, put it into play, and say, let's get rid of that spell. You can get it later, but not right now, okay? So yeah, a great card, especially, again, if you're going Flash, if you're going Flying, it applies to both. So yeah, depends on the direction you want to go with this commander. There's a lot of different great options. Errant and Giada, a great commander. I really like the design of this one. A good play of synergies between the two. Again, you definitely can utilize, Flash Tribal, Angel Tribal, Spirit Tribal, I guess I was about to say too. Flying Tribal, just any kind of the, different kinds of tribes you want to go. You can do a meld of all of them. Again, when it comes to melding, you can get Priscilla out pretty easily once you get set up properly. Again, utilize mill effects to dig through your deck. Again, make sure you are doing that. Again, with these kinds of commanders, give you access to the top of your library. Please, please, please make the most of it. Again, Codex Shredder, Pick Pandemonium, although that doesn't mill that exiles, but still. Ghoul Color Spell, those kinds of cards are incredible with these kinds of commanders. So yeah, make sure you're considering those kinds of cards. Make sure also, again, if you're interested in this commander, I think a lot of people are, make sure you check out that link in the description below to the cards I talked about in this episode, because when new commanders like this one are spoiled, sometimes cards that go well with it might go up in price sooner rather than later. So yeah, maybe pick up some cards sooner rather than later. Also, if you haven't seen my episode on Inga and Essica, oh my goodness, this is a really cool commander. And the art, oh my goodness, that when I first saw, I was like, Wizards, what in the world? This is fantastic. This is incredible. This is amazing. Cats pulling a chariot on a rainbow. If you haven't seen the episode, make sure you check it out. But yeah, make sure you comment below, let me know what your thoughts are on this commander, Errant and Giada. And of course, as always, well, stay tuned to this channel for more exciting quick takes and spoilers. Almost forgot to say that. Now, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.